Welcome. Welcome, the peace, the silence. Mm. Uh, I see. We have some foolish people. I'm sorry about that. No, somebody hacked Kelly's account. I'm sorry about that. These are just words on the screen. They really don't mean anything. So we're not going to give those words any meaning. We'll remain as we are. So sorry about this unfortunate incident. Just going to check a couple of things. I'm going to delete the chat. And I could see that probably some other people, for some reason, are coming on board who are not necessarily interested in this meeting. So I'll keep my eyes open on that. And so all appearances, they're just images on the screen. So we are watchful not to identify ourselves in any way. We remain transparent, not necessarily agreeing, but we remain as presence, as the peace of being. So you notice like a wave may arise and then it returns to the ocean. A cloud may appear in the sky, and in time it sort of dissolves in the space without any effort. So we do not divide ourselves, we do not segment our experience. In other words, we remain as presence, because as presence, we are not an object in space. We are not a person with a history. As presence, there are no borders. There's no personal identity as presence. Can you turn your attention to that? The effortless presence, which is your reality. All sorts of things may happen in the world, in the family, in the body. Images on the screen. Currents within the ocean. The ocean is not concerned about the waves or the currents. Thoughts, sensations, images, perceptions, memories. Images on the screen. There is no separate personal self. That's just another image on the screen. A feeling, a thought, a belief. Which in fact does not disturb the wide open sky of awareness. When the mind is at ease, it's already effortlessly surrendered, undisturbed by this or that. You don't need to refer to yourself as a father, a mother, an image, a son, a daughter. Because you are borderless, the formless reality. Reality means there is absolutely something rather than nothing. not the flow of images on the screen, but the screen itself. Which knows it is. I know I am. Not because there are sensations and perceptions. I know I am because I am. My direct experience, not a thought that is appearing to me, but the reality that perceives thought, that perceives. Knowing yourself as I is beyond any doubt. The absolute certainty of I. And in this moment, this very I one could say, takes on the form of hearing, perceiving. And this perception does not require the belief that I am a limited personal self. Perception is direct. There's no effort. In perceiving. There is effort in imagining someone who should or must perceive correctly or incorrectly. But there is no effort in perceiving the thought today is Tuesday. No effort in perceiving the sensation of the warmth within the body. That effortless presence, that is self-knowing, and knowing of the world, the body, the mind. That effortless presence is what we refer to as I, or awareness, consciousness. And this effortless awareness is not in the business of protecting itself, because it is not an object to protect. The world, meaning perceptions, appear to you. Like your night dream perceptions. You are not in the world. The world appears to you like waves appear to the ocean. Images may have certain limitation, certain shape and size. Feelings may have a certain form. But not presence. It is self-evident that awareness is my reality. And the world that appears to me, perceptions that appear to me, they are at zero distance from awareness. The sensation of your feet on the ground, is at zero distance from the awareness, which perceives it and conceives it simultaneously in a timeless moment. Conception and perception. Arise without any distinction. So it is said that all of creation is your creation, not to be misunderstood as being the creation of your personal mind. But your creation as the totality. And why the totality? It's because there is no separation. There may be an impression of separation, an impression of a subject and object. Like in the ocean, there is an impression of an upswing of a wave and a downswing of the wave. Images on the screen. So you do not know yourself as somebody which requires effort and memory and storyline, but you know yourself effortlessly as I, borderless, aware presence. Okay, so if you have any questions, anything that you would like to explore.
Hi, Magdi.
Hello, George.
Hi. I've been with you for a while, a very long time, and I have some questions about very basic ideas. I'm just looking in my direct experience. For example, you talked about the absolute certainty of I. That absolute certainty is missing here. I don't get it. You talked about perceptions appear to me. Perceptions appear, but I can't find, when I look at my direct experience, I can't find the me, the entity to which they appear. So if you make a statement like, I am aware, I've got two problems with that statement. One, I can't find the I, and I can't find the awareness. Now, you also talked about awareness and presence. I guess I'm confusing. I've got two different questions, okay? First, it looks like the I isn't there. And it also looks like the awareness and presence are not there. There are sensations, there are perceptions, there are thoughts. Now, in my direct experience, that's all I can, I use the word I, but I is like a grammatical placeholder. Okay. I'm sorry, I don't know if I'm making any sense.
Okay. So, George, when you take a piece of paper and you're writing a letter or you're writing some notes, you can look at the page and say, well, all there are notes. There are some designs. There are some words. You don't say there is a page. When you look at the movie or at the image, you say, oh, wow, there is a tree, there is the sunshine, there is a river. You don't perceive the screen, but yet you are perceiving the screen as a metaphor, yes, as a metaphor. I'm using it as a metaphor. So when you look at the sky, you see the cloud, you say, wow, it's beautiful blue clouds or gray clouds or whatever, but you don't see the sky. When you look at the sky and there are no clouds, you see a blue color. You say, wow, it's a really beautiful sky. But you're talking about the color because you're not perceiving the sky. The sky is colorless. So it is true that we do not perceive awareness, consciousness phenomenally. In other words, the I, the object, the I, EYE, does not perceive itself. So we could say, well, there is no EYE, there is no I, but when we look in the mirror, we say, oh yeah, of course there is an I. Or when we look at each other, I say, oh yeah, oh, I see you have two eyes, so therefore I must have two eyes. I can never see my two eyes without either looking at the mirror or looking at your two eyes and extrapolating or inferring that if you have two eyes, then I must have two eyes, right?
Right, as an inference, yes, of course.
Yes. So in your experience, there is no doubt that right now you're hearing these words.
There is no doubt that these words are being heard right now.
There is no doubt that these words are being heard. So these words are being heard, There is a hearing.
There is a hearing, no doubt.
Hearing. So one could say that sometimes there is hearing, sometimes there isn't hearing, but in the moment of hearing, one could say that hearing is occurring. And when there is no hearing, one could say, what?
Hearing is absent.
Well, no. except if you bring in the memory of hearing.
Okay, you're right. So in that case, there would be nothing to say.
The fact that you would have nothing to say, does it mean that here I am, I'm going to use the A word, does it mean that awareness is not?
That's the problem. Now, in other words, it seems that the only way I can know awareness is indirectly. Like there are sensations, perceptions, thoughts, and I label those, oh, those are manifestations of awareness.
Wait a minute.
But that seems like a concept.
Wait. If you say there are manifestations of awareness and you don't know anything about awareness, you cannot speak from both sides of your mouth.
I can speak from, okay. No, I'm saying if that's a concept, I've heard you say that and other people say that.
Let's not talk.
I can get that as a concept, but I can't experience.
No, forget about the concept. Let's talk about your experience.
Okay.
Your experience, you say that I have no experience of awareness except when I am hearing something or perceiving something.
No. Okay, let me re-speak. From my direct experience, I have experience of sensations, perceptions, thoughts.
Well, word it differently, because if you say I have, then I'm going to ask you what is this I that you're referring to. So
okay. All right, let me word it differently, because I is a grammatical placeholder. So let me word it differently. Sensations, perceptions, thoughts exist, are perceived.
Are perceived.
Right.
So there is perception.
Yes, perception.
Okay. What about when there is no perception?
What about when there's no? I'm not trying to be difficult.
I hear you that when there is perception, there is perception. Okay, fine. We're on the same wavelength.
Right.
Now my question is, okay, what about when there are no perceptions? Either you're going to tell me there is no such thing, or we're going to continue the conversation about when there are no perceptions. When there are no perceptions, is that like a sort of somebody took a scissor and made a cut into the cosmic realm?
From my direct experience, I've never experienced a time when there weren't any perceptions or thoughts or sensations. So if you ask me what would be like if there weren't, it's just speculation. I can't know that from direct experience.
Okay. So if your experience is that there are perceptions, would you say that there is a reality to your experience?
Well, reality is an abstraction. I would label that as reality. I would say perceptions are real.
No, that was not my question. Let me backtrack.
Okay.
Forgetting about perceptions, would you say that there is a reality to your experience?
I would label, again, I'm using I as a placeholder. I would label my experiences as real. If you're going to, if you're going to use the word reality, it's all relative. No, I would say yes, my experiences are real. Maybe I would say that's the only thing I know that's real.
That your experience is real?
Yeah, my experience, sensations, perceptions, thoughts, they're real.
Okay, good. So let's just stick with that your perceptions are real.
Okay.
So therefore, your perceptions exist of their own because they're real.
Well, yeah, I don't know what you mean they exist of their own. I'm just
They
in
have-
my
they
in
have-
my direct experience, I don't know the cause of them. I don't know if they exist on their own. I don't know if they would come out of Brooklyn.
Well-
You know, I don't know any of that.
Right. Independent of where they came out from or where they're going to, your thoughts are real. If your thought that today is Tuesday is real.
The thought is real, yes. The thought is real.
Okay. So if the thought is real, then where does it go when you are thinking today is Wednesday? When you're thinking today is Wednesday, where does the thought today is Tuesday, which is real, where does it go?
It's not real at that point. It's a memory.
Okay. So therefore, you are postulating a reality that's constantly changing.
Thoughts come and go.
No.
Constantly
We're talking
change.
about reality. Hold on.
No, but at that moment, they're real.
Well, okay. So therefore, you are postulating that if thought today is Tuesday is real.
When I have that thought, that thought is real.
When the thought today is Wednesday is real, then the thought today is Tuesday is no longer real.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah. Okay. So therefore, you are postulating a reality that's constantly changing.
Yeah, if you want to label those real, that's not a postulate.
No, I'm not labeling it. I'm not labeling it anything. I'm not labeling it anything. I'm in a conversation precise with you about the thought today is Tuesday, which is real. And then when the thought today is Wednesday appears, the thought today is Tuesday is no longer real. I'm not speculating. I'm just saying this is what we're talking together and agreeing, or we have to continue talking until we reach a common understanding.
Okay.
Common language.
All right.
So you are talking about specifically thought, more generally experience, which is real for a certain time,
moment,
for a certain moment, and then another reality replaces another reality replaces another reality replaces it, right?
Right.
That's your experience, right?
That's my experience.
Okay. Now, do you have an experience where the perception of the thought today is Tuesday and the perception of the thought today is Wednesday?
If I understand your
refer to the same whatever. How about the same whatever?
I'm sorry, I don't understand that question.
Okay. Do you have?
Okay, no, I think if I understand your question, the answer is no.
Okay, so when you were experiencing hugging your mother when you were 15 years old, and when you were experiencing hugging your neighbor 2 days ago, you have an experience of being somebody else, hugging your mom and somebody else hugging your neighbor. Is that your experience?
No. I have first of all, they're just memories. And secondly, at the time of hugging, I have the experience of hugging. I don't have the experience of the self. No, when I hug, first of all, when I hug, then I have this experience of, I can feel, body sensations. That's all I have. I don't have experience of I doing the hugging, nor do I directly experience the mother that I'm hugging. That's a
yes,
a perceptual concept.
let's drop the word I. Let's drop the
Good.
word I. Let's see if we can. So over the past 2 minutes, okay, we've talked different things, we said different things.
Right.
Is it your experience, not talking about, I'm not asking you to speculate about it, your experience, go to your experience. Is it your experience that something fundamental has changed?
No,
Okay.
I don't know what that means.
So, yes, I understand. So when I asked you, do you have the experience of something fundamental changing? And you said no. What did you look at to answer no? You obviously did not look at the content of our conversation because that has changed. We've said so many things over the past 5 minutes.
I looked at, I'm sorry, you said fundamental, what was the word you used, fundamental?
I asked, is it your experience that something fundamental has changed? And you,
Okay.
and you said,
Where I looked at
yes,
is fundamental. What does that mean? That's where I looked at. And I said, something fundamental change.
yes.
No, I don't know that. What's fundamental? I don't know. That you asked me where I looked, that's where I looked.
Yes. So you looked at whether something fundamental has changed. And you replied, no, nothing fundamental has changed. It's not you said, now my words, because I was asking you to look at your experience. So you replied, from my experience, I do not have the experience of something fundamental changing.
That's, those are the words that were emitted by
Good. That something fundamental, which you don't even know what it is what we're talking about.
I get that, except I get it as a concept. You've been talking.
No, not as a concept, because.
But I only get it as a concept.
Hold on. I asked you to, from your experience, is it your experience, not a concept, is it your experience that something fundamental has changed? And you looked, okay,
and I said,
you heard words, you understood something, whatever you understood, you looked and you said, no, it is not my experience that something fundamental has changed.
Right.
So you cannot now say, oh, well, no, that's a concept. You looked at
No, that's fine. But if you asked me from your experience, can you say that, that something fundamental is still here?
I didn't.
I also have to say no.
I didn't ask that. I asked a different question.
Okay.
I know which question not to ask.
Okay. Okay.
I asked a specific question.
Okay.
Is it your experience that something fundamental has changed?
Okay. My answer was and still is no.
No. Okay. That is what we're talking about.
What?
That whatever that is, that somehow you looked at your experience and somehow you said, no, it is not my experience that something fundamental has changed. That is what we're talking about.
But that's a lack of experience.
Now you are.
You asked me, is it my experience? And I said, no.
Now you are formulating. Now you are coming with an explanation that, oh, what I looked at was the absence of experience. No. At the absence of experience. It was a very clear question about whether you experienced something fundamental. Now you are making a narrative about it. You're saying, well, there was the absence of experience.
Right, but if you ask me, is it my experience that Santa Claus is diabetic? I would have said no.
No, but that was not the question, because
I understand. Okay.
the question was not about anything phenomenal.
No, Santa Claus
I
is
did not
okay.
ask you. I did not ask you. Is it your experience that your bank account has changed? I didn't ask that. I
Okay.
didn't ask about Santa Claus.
Okay.
I asked a different question.
Okay. I stick with my answer.
Which has to do with reality, which has to do with awareness, which has to do with consciousness. These are different words, but I don't want to use these words right now, because I could see the pitfalls within these words. I could see how your mind is very, I don't want to use any of these words. I want to stick with the language that I've used.
Okay.
Which is it your experience that something fundamental has changed?
Okay. My answer was no, and still is. Okay.
I may even take the question, is it your experience that over the past, not just the past 5 minutes, you can extend the time frame, and the same question would apply? And I invite you to look at that question in different time frames, expand the time frame, but take it over the past 10 years or whatever. Now, there are levels in our experience. There is the phenomenal level, which is loud, which basically is saying green, yellow, blue, birds, oceans, sunshine, heat, cold, love, hate, etc. Feelings, sensations, perception. And there is the belief that I'm the body. And that belief, we already looked at it and we realized, well, it's just a belief. I mean, if I was on some heavy drugs, I would believe that I'm a duck, whatever, that's just a belief.
Right.
It's a brain track that has been grooved so deeply that it's so easy to go to it, the train track.
Right.
We understand that.
Right.
So in our experience, there is colors, shapes, sounds, the senses. There is the belief, I'm the body, mind, I'm George, I'm Magdi, I'm born, etc. I'm good, I'm bad, etc.
Right. There are those beliefs. Yes.
And all these beliefs. But there is something else in our experience, which is not a thing. That's the thing. That's the maybe where we sort of feel that, okay, well, we're not getting it.
That's exactly the point. That is, you say there's this subtle, I don't know. If you want to say, is there a sense?
Oh no, not a sense, because that's all right.
I have an experience of an interloper.
So no, I am not talking about any sense of being, any sensation of. It's not. I'm not talking about an appearance. There is in our experience. We don't like the word reality, so something rather than nothing.
Yes, you've used that term before, and I'm with you. There is something rather than nothing.
Right.
I have no doubt about that.
Yes. So that something rather than nothing, the mind perceives it as being phenomena.
Yes.
Why? Because the mind has language, has a certain training, has a certain need to communicate. So that something from the mind perspective is phenomenal. But from the perspective of reality from the perspective of the non-phenomenal perspective. Because the phenomenal perspective makes a certain propositions. It proposes matter. It proposes subject-object. It proposes relationships. It proposes multiplicity.
Yes, of course.
But from the perspective that does not propose diversity or multiplicity or categorization, that does not propose door versus wall versus liquid versus solid versus magnetic and versus electromagnetic. It does not propose, that does not have that conceptual realm downloaded. So the conceptual realm is such a strong download that it seems to pervade the entire mind.
Yes, I totally agree, yes.
But that the mind itself structured or unstructured, because it could be unstructured or it could be madly structured when I'm psychotic. Okay.
Right.
Structured or unstructured, that mind itself, structured or unstructured, still is a form that does not answer all the questions.
Well, certainly, since there's no mind, but yes, okay.
It is a dynamic, it's a certain dynamic process.
Yes, all right, yeah, the mind is a process rather than an entity, yes, okay.
But on what basis does this dynamic process rest?
I got no idea.
Well, yeah, we have no idea. This is good. We have no idea. But it rests on something rather than nothing. Now, if we say it rests on nothing, then we are in the theory that there is, that arising arises out of itself.
It seems to me that mind emanates from thoughts.
Well, thoughts are also mind.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry. Yeah, right. I'm sorry. You use mind in a more generic sense. Okay, fine. That's right. Yes.
So,
all right. Within mind, you're including these sensations, perceptions. That's also
right. So a
sorry.
sensation. So either we're positing that a sensation arises out of a thought, or arises out of a perception, or a thought arises out of a sensation. Either we're positing that, or we are positing that they're arising, they do not arise out of, the phenomena does not arise out of phenomena, then it's obviously an arising, but it's not arising out of itself. In other words, phenomena is not arising out of phenomena.
Okay, yes.
Right. So given there is something rather than nothing, and so phenomena being an arising, if that something rather than nothing is phenomenal, then we come to the conclusion that phenomena is arising out of itself. Because that something rather than nothing is phenomenal. If that something out of rather than nothing is phenomenal, that something, which is the something rather than nothing, is therefore arising out of itself.
Well, I don't know whether it's arising out of anything, whether it even makes sense to say what is it arising out of.
if it's either it's arising out of itself or it's arising out of not itself.
If you want to say that it's arising.
We know via reasoning that a thought does not arise out of a thought. A perception does not arise out of a thought. A sensation does not arise out of a perception.
Right.
So therefore, we remain open that the arising cannot be a phenomenal. The phenomenal arising does not arise out of phenomena.
Okay, I'm sorry to be so difficult, but I get what you're saying now. Okay. So you're saying
that brings you to the edge of not knowing. And the edge of not knowing is different from the proposition which says that reality, or all I know, is phenomenal. No. The phenomenal is an aspect of my knowing of absolutely. But I'm also at the edge of the understanding or the inquiry into the arising of phenomena, and the understanding that the arising of phenomena is not a phenomenal process.
Okay.
Because phenomena does not arise out of phenomena.
Okay, so I get it. I really appreciate this, even though it's taken a long time. So, well, I just want to make sure I've got this right. So you're saying there are these phenomena, and phenomena do not arise from phenomena. So am I open to the possibility, since there is something rather than nothing?
Yes.
Am I open to the possibility that there's something out of which they arise?
Well, at least to be so clear that phenomena does not arise out of phenomena, and yet the arising is undeniable because it is my experience.
Right.
So I'm open to the unknown.
Yes. Very, very true. Thank you. I got that. Yes. I'm with you. Yes. I don't know how much time it took.
Let's put a lot of people to sleep here, but maybe some not.
yeah, but where we're at the edge. In other words, my original statement is I don't have an experience of this reality, or whatever we want to call it.
I would word it slightly differently, what you just said, George. I would say I do not have a phenomenal experience.
That's certainly true.
And the reason why I'm adding the term phenomenal in experience is because we are very clear that there is a phenomenal experience, but now we are sort of at the unknown border or edge of
Noumenal.
The noumenal. Okay.
Yeah, well, you've spoken about noumenal. Other people have spoken about noumenal. So I've heard about it a lot. But it's like, can't quite get it experientially. I can get the concept. I can agree with you. I can say, yeah, that makes sense.
Now,
anyway, okay.
Let me take it just a step further. Okay.
Okay.
Okay. So in our reasoning, we have sort of explored, maybe deconstructed, maybe some theories that we had, and we sort of are open to a new model or a complement to the next model, the next link. Okay. What I want to take the conversation just for a minute in a different direction. There is an intuitive aspect to our experience, which is different from perceptions, sensations, meditations, different from reading body language or reading, getting a sense from how the stars are lining up. There is an inner intuition we have about this, about being, which is non-verbal, non-mental. It can sometimes, in some cases, be verbalized or even be conceptualized. But although it can be conceptualized or verbalized, it is in essence non-phenomenal, non-mental, intuitive. We say intuitive, even that in a way is a gross way of speaking. So I invite you to be open to your inner intuition.
I accept your invitation.
Okay, that's all. Okay. About this question, not about the lotto, but about this question. Yes, about
Right, and not about the intuition that there's a separate self. Okay.
right. Well, that that is relative.
No. I mean, no. My only point is that there's a feeling of a separate self, which I'm not arguing for. Okay. But I'm saying there's this kind of feeling of that. Now there's this kind of feeling over here. And one of them you say is correct and the other isn't, And that's what I'm sort of trying to clarify.
Yeah, just the intuition about consciousness is, just want to specify, it's not a feeling. Yes, just
Yes.
It's I don't know what. Okay, it's I don't know what. I like to refer to all feelings, irrespective of what they refer to, what's their nature, as just images on the screen. Images on the screen. Chemical reactions.
Okay.
Mixing various, a little bit of this and a little bit of that. Oh boy, the feeling. All right, George.
All right. Thank you very much. Let me apologize to everyone else who, if you've fallen asleep, you can wake up now and we'll go on. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Right, George. Okay. Any questions?
I just wanted to say it's good to be here.
Hey, Holger. Yes, it is.
Hey, Magdi.
Frank.
Frank here. Yeah, I'm driving, so I don't want to distract
Yes.
anybody. That's why I'm off the video.
Yes.
Quick question. I've been wanting to ask you this for a while because I was a student of Christian Science for a long time.
Yes.
And do you know anything about that religion at all? Just out of curiosity.
Much.
Okay.
Much.
Well, they believe in the two, how they explain the world that we live in. Like it's what we've been talking about a lot here is that it's kind of like a dream world. They believe that there are two creations in the Bible in the Old Testament. There's the creation where God creates everything in 7 days and then he rests. And then the mist comes over the earth. So they believe that the mist that comes over the earth where then God creates Adam and Eve is the dream world, is the one that we live in. We sort of have fallen into the mist is like the dream world that came into being. Does that resonate at all with you in your teachings?
One could say that in terms of creation, there is the world, body, mind. You could say that God created the world, body, mind in 7 days. So there is, in our experience, perceptions, sensations, thoughts, memories, feelings, etc. And then there is also, in our experience, what we refer to as ignorance. Okay, the first part, which God created in 7 days, is referred to as Maya, the creation, that which is created. Then there is ignorance. Ignorance, or the mist, we use the word mist, is we use the terms veil. We use the term the veil, that which veils our perception. Like when you put on pink glasses, everything looks pink to you. Ignorance refers to the belief that in two powers, there is God's power and there is the personal power. The belief that consciousness is personal, that consciousness, that awareness, that God created independent, separate selves, that there are independent, separate selves. So we left God, we left God's garden, God's creativity. And now we are personal folks walking on the planet, looking for happiness, looking for the goodies, looking for the right partner, looking as a personal self. And we're lacking and hoping. We're lacking a partner, we're lacking money, we're lacking happiness. We're looking for happiness. We attach ourselves to goods, to money, to houses, to cars, to family, to bodies. We attach ourselves to our own body. We no longer recognize God's bountiful, God's infinite creativity. Rather, we are in the mist, in the veil of ignorance. So yes, I could, I just used the pointers that you just shared with me, and I extrapolated the Christian Science sharing that you just shared with me to put them in the language of non-duality. And in Advaita, we are interested in truth. We want to come to the true understanding. And the true understanding expresses itself as causeless peace and happiness, not peace and happiness that is worldly, that depends on, oh, wow, I had a great experience. Oh, I have a great partner now. No, peace and happiness that is God's peace and happiness. God's peace and happiness is absolute, is causeless, because God is peace and happiness, is freedom. So in Advaita, we're inquiring into what is the path to God's garden? What is the path to our true nature? What is the path to come to the full realizations of God's intention? And the process, as you're familiar with, because we've been meeting for a while, is the process of inquiry and investigation into the belief in dual powers, the belief that there is a personal power, and the belief that consciousness is born and exists in time and space. So the original sin.
Okay, perfect. Thanks. I'm not going to say anything else right now because I'm driving and stuff.
Yeah.
But,
Yeah.
oh, what's that?
I was going to just say a couple words about the original.
You off. Go ahead.
So there is the original sin. The original sin is a sin that we commit moment by moment whenever we believe that we are the body mind, that we are a man or a woman or father or mother or son, daughter. Whenever that belief comes on board, we are committing the original sin. So the original sin is a sin that arises in the moment, at the moment that you identify yourself as a part, as a segment. And because at the moment you identify yourself as a segment, as a son, as a father, whatever you identify yourself with, you have left, seemingly, you've left your true identity, which is the infinite, the God's creation. Now, in everything that God's created, there is God's reality. Everything, in the grain of sand, and in the, Mount Helen. In each creation, there is God's imprint, God's reality. So within your thoughts, your presence, your being is God's reality. Now, God's reality, which is absolute, is because of the original sin, the sin of believing that there is another reality besides God's reality, which is the oak tree, or the dog, or the cat, is a separate reality. There is a physical reality. Because of the ignorance, God's reality within everything and everyone is veiled. And you cannot perceive through the veil until you get the correct understanding about what constitutes the veil, what is the veil, what is the nature of the veil, what is the veil made of. And so the understanding about truth and happiness is an essential understanding to free yourself from the ignorance, from the original sin.
Does the tree of good and evil, of knowledge of good and evil, have anything to do with non-duality? That idea of the tree of good and evil?
Yeah.
The knowledge of good and evil.
Yes. So there are certain ethical propositions that arise out of religion about good and evil, good and bad, how to live righteously, and what to do in order to live righteously, and of course inherit the kingdom of God. That realm of ethics, religious ethics or social ethics, which are downstream from religious ethics, that realm of ethics has in it the belief that if you perform good deeds, if you avoid evil deeds, you will gain God's kingdom at some time in the future after your death, or whatever, whichever way it's formulated in different religions. In wisdom, in Advaita, you don't have the tree of good and evil. Rather, the focus is upon a distinction or discrimination between appearances and reality, meaning the distinction between that which moves and that which is unmoved. Now, in our experience, all we experience is movement, seemingly. But also, we don't notice that we also experience non-movement, which is peace, or moments of understanding, moments of happiness, where the mind then comes on board and says, well, that it makes a narrative about it. But in the moments of understanding or the moments of peace and happiness, there is no activity. There is no movement. But from the perspective of the mind cannot perceive that. And so the mind sort of does not acknowledge the experience of no movement. So in Advaita, we invite via various methods, various teachings, various contemplations, we invite ourselves to develop a sense of that which is unmoved. And it's not a phenomenal sense. It's not a sensation. It's a sort of an intuitive and also an insight into that which is unmoved and unchanged. And we invite the mind to discriminate between that which is constantly changing and that which is changeless in our experience. So that's quite different from the tree of good and evil. In terms of the ethical life in Advaita, ethical life is spoken of as arising out of your understanding, out of your love for truth. And in your love for truth, you recognize the other as your very self. And it's not arising out of a certain dogma or a certain promise for a future heaven. Rather, it is an immediate expression of our oneness, our sameness, our wholeness. So you treat the other as your very self, not because the guru has said so, but because you're developing a sense with, of an understanding of that recognition of the other as your very self. So the tree of life is the tree of good and evil is not external, is internal in Advaita, and rather than being external.
Good. That makes sense. Really, I'd love to hear that. I love hearing your perspective on this. Thanks, Magdi. Appreciate it.
Okay, Frank. Yes, be safe. Drive safely. Any questions? Okay. All right. Well, thank you all. Very lovely to be with you. And sorry about some of the craziness sometimes. Pauline and Frank, Holger, George, Lauren, hey Lauren, Holly, Karen, hey Karen, Zoe, hey Zoe, Grace, Marga, hello Grace, and Desmond. Thank you all.
Thank you, Magdi.
Thanks, Magdi.
Thank you.
Thank you, everyone.
Thanks, everyone.